hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Illusion Fox Gaming. So today we are doing the end cap for the world quest from Shadowbringers. Shadow Walk with Me. Glynard is overjoyed to welcome the conquering hero's return. Well, it wasn't the great hunter themselves. So if you don't know, all four of the cardinal virtues laid low, all with your help, you're the talk of the stairs. When the night returned to Lakeland, we knew in our hearts that change was on the horizon, but never did I dare hope that you might help us rid us of these terrible fiends. You've surpassed my wildest expectations. Not mine, Glynard. When I first laid eyes on her, I had an inkling that she was the hero we'd been waiting to come along. Easy to claim after the fact. Indulge me, though, I would love to hear what you tell how it all played out. The hunting of the virtues, that is. I don't know, there were some pretty dark and depressing tales in there. There are some more lighthearted ones, but a lot of those stories were kind of tragic. Or there's so much more to it than I realized. And there I thought you'd only had to track down the bloody things. Gods, though, the things you learned about the Warriors of Light, so many secrets and details lost over time. For all their hard work and sacrifice, they somehow brought about the flood. Can't say I understand it all, but it's a bloody tragedy it is. We should gather the others and toast their memories. Heroes of Veld, brave and true, to be remembered forevermore. Now, I'll thank you not to let your bleeding heart drive you to offer up a fortnight's stock of spirits. Tend to your other customers and let me speak with the hero of here now. What would I do without your good sense and wisdom? Very well, I'll leave you to entertain her, but don't think we won't be having that drink someday. I must thank you for sharing with us such incredible tales. It's only right that I repay you in kind. What the ending, that is. The story of the true villain who towers above the virtues. The devil more deserving of death than any of that yet lingers in this world. If your curiosity has been piqued, then meet with me atop the balcony overlooking the crystalline mean. I'll be waiting there until you do. I was thinking we were done. There's more? You came as I knew you would. Never met a mystery you could leave well enough alone, or a demon that you could yet let live, am I right? And this demon is undeniably deserving of death. Make no mistake, to cut them down would be just and proper, the act of a goodly person. And that's just what you are, I can see that. I need to grow impatient or be offended, my friend. Before you pass judgment on this villain, you first understand their part in everything. What they were to the fallen warriors of light, for instance. Of course, right about now, you must be wondering how I know what I know. What a tavern witch of all people has got to do with any of this. I'll tell you then. I am the one who brought together the virtue hunters. I am the one who marked you as a potential ally to them and bade you join them in your quests. Or in their quests. I alone knew what had to be done, and what sort of sinner would be needed to see this tale of tragedy and betrayal brought to an end. But come, we have many malms ahead of us still. To Calusia and the Codger's Crook. I'll go on ahead and wait for you there. Who's left? You're accustomed to life on the road, I see. As am I. Do you recognize this place? I thought you might. Here's where it began, where Ardbert first met Lamit. Still young and lacking in experience, but possessed with so much potential, heroes in the making. Even then, the keen-eyed could see. They would only fulfill that promise much later, though after joining with their other dear companions, Brandon and Rinda Ray. And one other, an elven woman. Not half bad with a sword. Ah, but perhaps you are already asking the question. Who? There are 5 warriors of light in all, but she would make 6. Indeed, after adding Nilebert, there does seem to be one too many. Believe me when I say, there was indeed a 6th adventurer lost to history, and her name was Silva. Though I doubt I need to convince you of this truth, when you walked in the Virtue's memories, you saw her time and time again, did you not? And you saw the true villain, the traitor responsible for all their woes. Let's continue the story elsewhere, to Amaurot in the fields of Amber. You saw the true villain's face in their memories. I told you her name and Calusia. But what were her crimes, you ask? Hearken to my tale and you will learn. Silva had joined the others before they first met Nilebert. After their party of 5 came to this place, they took on a commission to slay a powerful beast that had taken up residence in the mines. Said beast was believed to be the instigator of even more terrible tremors, and so time was of the essence. But during their hurried search, they crossed paths with their future companion, then a competitor aiming to usurp their prize. After another tremor triggered by the beast trapped them all underground, they had no choice but to work together to lay it low. But to their dismay, even after its death, the earth continued to shudder violently. As the adventurers looked to each other in confusion, Nilebert strode towards the beast's body and grabbed hold of a curious stone. A stone brimming with untold ether. They had sought out that he might harness his potential to rescue a loved one lost to the rift. But so powerful was the stone that warped the flow of the life stream. Its very existence was a threat, and so when faced with a choice between one life and countless others, Nilebert wept and shattered the stone. He had held his comrade's salvation in his hand and cast it aside for the greater good. For his sacrifice he was judged a hero, and in that instant a warrior of light was born. In life, Nilebert was a pragmatic figure whose wisdom and sagacity were admired by all. Little wonder that in death he would retain his virtue. But as Nilebert mourned the friend he had forever lost, the betrayer Silva looked on in silent contentment, for they had taken the first step on their path towards becoming heroes brave and true. His sacrifice had sparked the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. What ritual, you may wonder? Fear not, all will become clear in time. Come with me, Rectica, to the Satia swamps. I must retrace the steps as they were taken to understand the depth of her treachery. Still thinking it was you. This place, too, is familiar to you, no? From days recent and long since past. After the events in Amaurot, Ardbert and his comrades grew in fame, spurring others to entreat their aid. The adventurers sought out greater and greater challenges, in pursuit of another they came to Raktika. Well, here, the hunter Rinda Ray learned that the notorious mark Balam Quits was near, and so under cover of darkness she slipped away from the others to slay the beast by herself. Like Albert before, of course, you already know what her motive was. Balam Quits had robbed her of her fellow hunters. Only vengeance would redress the balance. Or she would not dare risk the lives of her new comrades. So terrified was she of the mere possibility that she might have to relive that terrible day. And so she faced Balam Quits alone, and would have surely died for it had Ardbert and the others not arrived in time to help. Like Niallbert before, of course, you know what happened next. For her love, her conviction, and resolve was she chosen by Hydaelyn. From that day forward, Rinda Ray swore never again to betray her comrades' trust, to share with them the triumphs and the tragedies, to relinquish the freedom she had once held in the highest. The bravest, most courageous hunter that ever was, that moment would define what she became in life and in death. Her sacrifice would hasten the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. The betrayer Silva looked on yet more satisfied. They are oblivious to her machinations, unaware that they were dancing to her tune. Their journeys continued, and so must ours, till Meg and Legia. So much chasing around. As beautiful now as it was then, you saw too, would you not agree? With the death of Balaam Quits, the legend of Arbert and his comrades had grown larger than ever. Thus emboldened, they came to the kingdom of Vobert. Vobert had long been troubled by what some had dubbed a magical plague. Innocents found transformed into misshapen fiends that the kingdom knights had no choice but to put down, ere the contagion spread. Brandon had been one such knight. In his youth he had served the Princess Saldia faithfully, only to be cast out for a single mistake. Thus did he take to the road where he met Ardbert and the others. Having grown stronger and wiser and more respected, Brandon felt it was time to return and redeem himself. And with the aid of his comrades, he did just that. Tadric the court mage was unmasked as the mastermind of Vobert's misery, and by disgraced knight's blade was he brought to justice. With his dying breath, Tadric cursed the Princess Saldia, sentencing her to a fate worse than death. At her behest did he raise up his blade, and for the sake of the kingdom strike down his liege lady. With that single stroke he forever changed. Though nearly not in the way that was necessary, he stood at the precipice and almost forsook his compassion for unflinching judgment, but mercifully turned aside at the last. Thus did he find and embrace true justice, that which weighs the law and heart together and strives for the greater good. 'Tis a long, difficult road from which many stray, settling for simpler moralities, but I would expect no less of the man who became Dicaiosine. His sacrifice would strengthen the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. As her companions grew ever more powerful, so did the betrayer Silva. Bit by bit, they brought her closer to her goal. But it was not yet finished. To Calusia they returned, and so must we. Tomra and the next chapter of our tale await. Slowly but surely the adventurers were fulfilling their potential. Word of their deeds in Vobert spread like wildfire, and their legend grew. Ever larger, but for all their success, the fledgling heroes would be forced to endure more hardship and welcome more sacrifice. They pressed deeper into the depths of Raktika, towards ancient Ronka. 'Twas there that the dwarf Lamette came to a crossroads. For in claiming the magic she desperately desired, she would be forced to renounce something equally precious. Dwarves are a reclusive lot, one to withdraw from the world that their many traditions might be preserved in isolation. When the stone blight began to spread, they chose to lock away the afflicted and refused to seek outside help. But Lamette would not abide this. She vowed to save her ailing kin. Her sister among them, even meant violating dwarven law. With her newfound power she returned and cured the sick, and for this she was banished by the Council of Elders. This came as no surprise, for he had made her peace with it long before. When she stood in that ancient ruin and called upon forgotten guardians to grant her forbidden knowledge, she knew then what the price would be. She had weighed her traditions and identity against the lives of those she loved, and made her choice, though it pained her terribly in ways only a dwarf could understand, and Heidelin, it would seem. Through hardship and sacrifice was a new warrior of light forged, a healer that knew more than any the value of life, and would do anything to see it preserved, even in death. Her sacrifice would nearly complete the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. Very soon, then, very soon. Forever and his comrades had stumbled upon evidence of the larger design, threads linking together the desperate troubles of the realm. A name spoken only in whispers. The Shadowkeeper, a singular force sowing chaos and discord throughout Norvrant to an unknown end. The Warriors of Light truly wished to see wish to save their world, then they would need to confront this villain amongst villains. And at the end of their exhaustive search, at the end of their struggle, who do you think they found waiting to welcome them with open arms? The answer to that waits us in Lakeland, our final destination. The villain yet walks among us, unknown and unpunished. Go on ahead and wait for me at Loxton Loft. There are preparations to which I must first attend. This is definitely going to be a longer video than what normally we do for what most quests are. I'm still predicting that this woman who set us all on this long chain is the source of all this. That she's the final villain. Though I'm not sure necessarily that she's actually a villain. Maybe survivor's guilt? Damn you, Silva, we were comrades in arms, friends. That we were, and that we were. Everything I said, everything I felt was all true. You mean the world to me. You're the bloody Shadowkeeper? What in the hells was this for? For you, for every one of you, to forge you into heroes worthy of her blessing, that she might choose you as her champions. A ruthless mage consumed by the pursuit of power to save his friend, no matter the cost. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. A mournful hunter, scarred by tragedy, resolved never again to trust in others. But by her sacrifice, a warrior born. A disgraced knight who yearned to steal his heart in justice's name. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. A troubled healer torn between tradition and love. By her sacrifice, a warrior born. and their leader, an adventurer with a heart overflowing with love for his dearest comrades, must now bring his axe to bear against his own. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. I am the villain you seek, the keeper of shadows. From a world shrouded in dark, by our struggle will this world be shattered and its souls saved. Silva! I saw it all. Saw it all, did you? Thought you might. Mother's gift was a knack for showing us exactly what we need to see, not what we want to, or when. They knew me as Silva, but my real name, it doesn't matter. Like you, I'm not of this world. I crossed the rift and came to the first. My home, the 13th, fell to dark in a calamity that mirrored the one which nearly claimed this world. I was one of several heroes who failed to save it. The boy, Unukohai, I have glimpsed him in your memories. He was a friend. Like him, I heeded the words of the Ascians, and that I might redress the balance, I chose to come here and hasten a rejoining of worlds. A shard subsumed by dark demands a mirror of blinding light. Primordial forces will strive to achieve equilibrium, but there was a solution. A single solution, I believed. Were a flood of light to consume this shard in its entirety, it'd be of no use. The Ascians made it clear it must be brought to the brink, but no further. The test was difficult, but the plan simple. Souls predisposed to light, fledgling heroes in the making, I bring together Ardbert and his comrades and groom them for a higher purpose. I play the part of comrade and guide their course, all the while laboring in secret to pit stronger and stronger enemies against them. Till finally, once they were warriors of light, brave and true, I would reveal myself as a warrior of darkness and extinguish their radiance forever. Thus would this world be primed for rejoining, and the source for a calamity. The Ascians, who called themselves Mitron and Logrif, were confident it would succeed, and indeed, Ardbert and the others rose to the occasion as I knew they would. It was not to be. I had misjudged Ardbert. His comrades before him had made their sacrifices in turn, and as their mirror I had grown stronger for it. Had he but embraced his role and struck me down, victory would have been mine. But Ardbert, dear Ardbert, would not forsake his heart. In the end, he chose mercy. He chose love, and I was undone. The rest you know. He set out Mitron and Logrif, and granted them what he refused me. They accomplished everything they set out to achieve, and then the flood came, and washed it away. In the wake of my betrayal, I would look on from the shadows, and reflect on my many sins, as I'll fall to ruin, denied death then and now, and perhaps ever after, as a fragment of my essence endures. Then one day years ago, my fallen comrades rose again as the cardinal virtues. It coincided with the arrival of the first Scions. I later realized a defense against the forces being marshaled to undo my failure. I can assume this Ascians planned the idea in Valthyri's head. They were his creations after all. And with their graves in Yomoran territory, it was doubtless a simple matter to have their bodies exhumed and prepared. Who am I to speak, you may think when I say this, but when I saw these abominations he had wrought in their image, I was filled with such despair, such anger. I cannot unwrite the past. My soul is stained with blackest sin, and I will not pretend that can ever be otherwise. But this act, this I could not ignore. The Ascians were going to such lengths, then surely others would cross the rift in due time. And so I hatched a plan. I assumed the guise of Ciela, and as her take up residence in the Crystarium, where I take measure to bring together the most ambitious of adventurers, individuals driven by more than mere coin, virtue hunters. That way, when the enemy, the Ascians, feared more than any came to the first, the stage would be set. They would join in the hunter's quest, and together unmake Vothri Simulacra, and lay their souls to rest once more. And so you did. The virtues are no more, but the one ultimately responsible for the creation, the devil who set them on their doomed path, lingers still. You know all there is to know of the heroes that saved this world. The truth I kept hidden in the shadows is yours. There are no more secrets to share. And so I ask you now to grant me that which Ardbert could not. Death. No, don't do this. Don't you spare me like he did. How can you stand there and say I deserve to live? Knowing everything I did, the lives I destroyed, the chaos I wrought, the warnings pale in comparison. Surely there is no greater villain than the Shadow Keeper. I should have expected a hero would say something like that. How does one even seek atonement? 'Tis an undiscovered country with no charts or stars to guide. How will I even know when I find it? You don't. Just keep trying. Perhaps I may yet to find purpose in preserving my comrade's legacy, and helping others to understand the sacrifices that made them true heroes. For now I shall return to the Crystarium and continue to assist Glynard while spreading the forgotten tales of the Warriors of Light. You have been good friends, you and Ardbert, in another life. Maybe you and I as well. Whew. I tell you, I'm not at all accustomed to wearing armor any longer. Simply moving about in it is enough to tax my strength. And fighting? Anyone of Captain Lena's recruits could probably put me flat on my back. Fortunately, I need to rely on my sword to spread the truth of my fallen comrades' deeds. Only words, and the passage of time will see their legacy redeemed in the eyes of the people. Thank you for accompanying me on my journey of remembrance. May our deeds ever be remembered and celebrated at all heroes as all heroes deserve. And so that was the quest, Shadow Walk With Me. Thank you for joining us here today for this little video here on YouTube. Hopefully we'll see you again either for another video here on YouTube or maybe one of our many streams over on Twitch, the same channel name. Till then though, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day.